Before I start this presentation, let me ask you a question. Why do you think people start a business? Well, I think we can all agree that establishing a business is always associated with making money. And for that to happen, businessmen likely find ways and strategies to improve their sales. One example of penetration pricing strategy is the predatory pricing, which has been in the circulation here in the Philippines since 1900s. Predatory pricing is used to maximize one's business profit by bringing its product at its lowest possible price to attract consumers. Back in time, around 1950s, the concept of predatory pricing was rejected by researchers and scholars due to its irrationality that soon leads to the disappearance of the said strategy in the market. It was then avoided by businessmen not until the early 2000s when the big three of Philippine oil industry was accused of predatory pricing, same with Grab Holdings in 2018, and recently in 2019 the DBDOYC Incorporated or ANCAS, which was all dumped by the court because this doesn't violate the antitrust law, contrary to what the researchers and other people concerned are implying before. Owing to the fact that predatory pricing is emerging once again, and research findings are dynamic, this study took the risk to find out if in what manner will predatory pricing affect the businesses in today's time. Greetings, together with my co-presenter Kyla Ingreso. I am Shane Tamil from Emilio Aguinaldo College Cavite Senior High School Department, and we humbly present you this study entitled Utilization of Predatory Pricing in Small-Scale Rice Business Resulting to Sales.
Now that the concept of predatory pricing was explained, let me give you the background and set of context of this paper. Prices of commodities today are getting higher and higher. As a result, both the sellers and consumers are suffering from this situation. With that said, it is important to know what the best pricing practice or strategy is to be used that can give a solution where everyone can benefit. Thus, this topic was chosen where it focuses on the pricing strategy used by rice businesses, which is basic commodity for every Filipino family. Aside from not viewing this strategy as irrational, we can also point out the uniqueness of this study in terms of the methods and viewing of the strategy or approaches used, which is to be further discussed later on. Moreover, we also did this study with the rice business industry, which we are all aware of that is experiencing inflation over the period of time. In addition to that, this study attacks differently from the convention by trying to prove the efficiencies of predatory pricing for all that happens. This research sought to answer these questions.
I believe that how we arrive at the results is just as important as the results alone, so let me walk you on how this research was carried out. In this study, a quasi-experimental design under quantitative method was used. We would like to focus on a certain type of business to gather more precise information, that's why we ended up on this design. For the research instrument, we used a create-your-own survey questionnaire which underwent reliability tests and validation. As you can see, this research questionnaire garnered a FleeceCappa reliability score of moderate agreement, which has assured us that this will gather precise, accurate, and reliable data. Upon choosing our participants, we employ a non-probability sampling technique, specifically snowball technique, whereas our participants referred some of their acquaintances in the rice business industry that they think are also fit to be respondent of this study. Multiple regression was used as the statistical treatment, whereas it assessed the strength of relationship between independent variables and dependent variable. Whereas in this study, the dependent variables denoted by the sales performance of small-scale rice business, while independent variables are denoted by the predation and recruitment stage of predatory pricing. During the data gathering, we first gave an informed consent to our participants to seek for their approval. Upon approval, we then gave the pre-test, followed by the intervention, where we conducted an individual seminar presentation to our participants to explain the concept of predatory pricing. After a 3-day interval, we then came back for the post-test. In the ethical consideration of research, aside from making sure that we give an informed consent to our participants, we also make sure that we do not invade the privacy and confidentiality of our participants, especially that this is a business study that focuses on the sales of their business.
The first SOP aims to know the mean score of experimental group before and after the intervention. Based on the statistical treatment applied in the data gathered, the pretest score yielded to a mean of 3.35, while the post-test score gathered a mean of 3.60. It is notable that there is quite an increase on the mean of the post-test score. The best reason for that that can be inferred on this is prior knowledge to the participants. At first, participants are still not aware with the intervention that resulted to low pretest score. However, after the intervention was done, they already know or they already had the knowledge with predatory pricing. Thus, there is an increase with the mean of the post-test score.
In order for businesses to increase their revenue and profit margin, they are willing to apply various pricing strategies in their business. That being the case, some businesses are already applying a certain pricing strategy without them knowing. This then leads us to the conclusion that familiarizing different pricing strategies to business owners can let them know what is the most appropriate pricing strategy is to be used in their business. On the other hand, for those businesses that are already applying a certain pricing strategy but they are not aware of it, just like our participants, making them aware with that certain pricing strategy will lead them to the better execution of it since they already know what they are utilizing in their business.
With that being said, we would like to recommend this study to the business owners who seek to employ strategies with their businesses. However, before applying a pricing strategy on their business, they should gather information first to know the advantages and disadvantages of this certain strategy that they want to use. In this study, predatory pricing turned out that it is helpful or it helps small-scale rice business to improve their sales. Thus, research-based, we would like to recommend this pricing strategy because consumers like lowly priced commodities and even discounts. However, much this strategy is emphasizing on prices which set low, the quality of goods and services are not supposed to be compromised.
The second statement of the problem focuses on the significant difference in the experimental group before and after the intervention. Since there is a variance in the mean of the pre-test and post-test scores, significant difference does exist. The regression statistics reveal that there is a significant difference, whereas the p-value of 0.008 is less than an alpha of 0.05. Thus, we accept the alternative hypothesis, which implies that significant difference does exist.
It was once said by Magira in 2017, an economist, that one of the most significant benefits of applying penetration pricing strategy is that it can help a company or a firm increase its overall sales volume, which happened to the participants of this study. Since there's a significant difference, it can be concluded that predatory pricing affected the sales of small-scale rice businesses. However, findings may still vary in terms of time.
Thus, we recommend this study to economists and business practitioners to see if the results will still be the same after applying predatory pricing in longer period. Since this study is just workable in short period of time, a good way to fill the gaps in this study is to apply predatory pricing in longer period and in other business types.
The last SOP or statement of the problem still focuses on the significant difference, but this time just within the post-test of experimental group. Based on the result of the post-test, majority of the participants said that their sales had increased or remained the same. In this study, the researchers utilizes predatory pricing and it had remarkably improved the sales of small-scale rice businesses.
Since many business owners wishes to aggrandize in the market, according to Mendrez in 2014, they take the risk to apply predatory pricing in their business operations. In this study, the researchers utilized predatory pricing and it had remarkably improved the sales performance of small-scale rice business. Since there is a significant difference, it can be concluded that predatory pricing, particularly the predation stage, had affected the sales performance of small-scale rice business.
In that case, since the predation stage was the early stage or the only stage of predatory pricing that was proven in this study, we recommend the future researchers to continue this study by focusing on the recoupment stage of predatory pricing. This study can be their guideline in pursuance of their further knowledge about this kind of topic. However, or moreover, finding out ways on how a business can't lose despite selling its product at a low cost is also recommended.
Overall, manipulation of prices both upwards and downwards offers enormous potential for increased profits. The key thing to remember is that you must make the right move at the right time. This requires an understanding on how price changes will impact on sales. For example, if a small decrease in price resulted on an increase in sales, then maybe decreasing the price is a worthwhile move. This is when a carefully considered pricing strategy becomes useful. Price is one of the most important ways in which customers choose between different products and services, and knowing the optimum price that you should charge to maximize sales and profits is the key to beating the competition.
Presented are the reliable sources where We gathered information to complete this study.
Before we end this presentation, let me just share you this Bible verse that serves as our strength and inspiration while doing this study. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you all stay safe and have a good day.